What up, guys? That Comic Awesome here, doing another review. Today doing Infinity Countdown Prime, number one, even though it's only one. This gives me a lot of hope, especially with the recent news and talk of the Marvel Fresh Start. Reading this really makes me hope that they're going to get it right. I'm going to be very cautiously optimistic about it because more than likely they won't. But with a lot of the shakeups on the creative teams and what feels like a giant reset button right here getting ready to be pushed in what should be a really good event. I'm actually very excited for this. Unlike Civil War 2 and Secret Empire, and even back to Secret Wars, this actually makes me feel like there's a lot at stake. Like there's a good bit of tension, and it's not just that good versus evil tension. You have a lot of different dynamics of people that are holding these stones. Some want to protect them, some want to use them, some want to gather them, and how each one of these, how they're going to, I think, kind of orbit around each other is where the meat and the crux of the story is going to be for this series. So let's jump in. You kind of get a really quick catch-up. On the catch-up page, just says, sometime ago, the Infinity Stones were reborn and scattered, setting events into motion that will shake the very foundation of the universe. But for now, the question at hand is, who holds the stones? Even though, they give you a pretty good idea. At least, Wolverine, and that's Captain Marvel. These other hands could be anybody. You find out in the book. So we start with Wolverine, and anybody who, read Marvel Legacy will know that Wolverine just happened to decide, okay, I've been enough time in the adamantium, I'm just going to cut myself out of it. He then just happens upon a SHIELD truck carrying a case. And once you know, that case is an Infinity Stone. So now he is in... Now, they never really told you which one it is, but it's confirmed here he has the Space Stone. So he's in the woods. He's kind of, he sees a wolf and he's like, hey, you better get out of here. All of a sudden, some Ultron bots confront him because they want the stone, and Wolverine gets into classic Wolverine work. For starters, I'm not a fan of this 3D style modeling of art. Sometimes it looks good, like here, you have a really cool stance, and here where there's an action shot, but then it looks really awkward there. And then anytime a face, especially with an open mouth where someone's conversing, they always look like their jaw is just hanging open Soy Boy style, and it's just so you get some, he kind of has this really cool moment. He's like, you're new around here, but you should know I'm the best at what I do, and what I do is, and you think he's about to be like, murder folk, but he doesn't. He's like, teleporting, bam. So then, of course, the Ultron bots get all confused. He gets to murdering. Then Loki shows up, and kind of, him and Loki have this back and forth where he actually slices into Loki's head. He's like, because Loki sliced him, he's like, I just got to make sure it was you. And he's like, oh, I just had to make sure it was you. But this is where I'm talking about, this 3D model-ish, especially with Loki. It just looks like, it almost looks like a lifeless body that is sitting there, and especially a very feminine one, which I get Loki's kind of feminine, but, you know. But, so you kind of, so Loki is pretty much tells him, like, hey, give me the stone, it's more trouble than it's worth, you know, and Logan's like, no, that's pretty much it, that's why I'm going to hang on to it, because, you know, people are going to be coming for it. You can't get this badass, you know. And so, this is probably one of the best lines. He says, and when the other stone wielders come looking for the space stone, what then? And he says, I've got more pockets, bub. Boom. Again, this is the Wolverine that we've all missed. And then Loki kind of has some little quips. So then there is this really good kind of dialogue that sums up where all of the stones are, which they are referring them to as stones now, not gems. So Logan has the space. Guarantee you the first red shirt to fall will be this kind of no-name criminal, Mr. Turk, who has the Mind Stone and is kind of using it just for gambling purposes. Captain Marvel has the Reality Stone, and it's funny because it kind of quips that the Reality Stone was no longer even in our reality, but Captain Marvel still found it, and you know, the person muses like how many other Captain Marvels have like come across the Reality Stone, like across the realities. And again, see, like the art here makes it look, you know, pretty decent. You know, again, it's definitely like 3D modeling, so you don't really get the care and love of a pencil to paper, but again, nitpicking. Next, the Power Stone, the Guardians and Novacore are in possession of it, but it has gone from like a gem size to the size of a huge mountain, essentially. Next, the Time Stone, the Skrull leader now has the Time Stone. He wants to erase the humiliation of the Skrull Empire from history, and he will do that in any means necessary. So then you kind of get the catch up from Adam Warlock. If you remember, Kang pretty much woke Adam Warlock up at the end of time and said, look, you have to go back to the very beginning when this all started. So then he pretty much like sends Adam Warlock to Egypt, kills him, and like puts him in a tomb until 2018, and now he wakes up. Thanos is kind of still the leader of the Chitauri. Meanwhile, and this is where we get kind of badass. So on Ego, and I assume maybe this was like Ego's body or something like that. You have Mangus, and he is or Magus, and he is in possession of the Soul Stone, and you know he's like, I'm gonna pretty much get the other stones, and I will rewrite reality into my existence. And then he's like, you know, have you considered why I helped you locate the Soul Stone? After you stole me from my meditation and desecrated my body, I directed you truthfully to the stone, but I also made sure you were noticed by greedy eyes. And he says, you know, let Thanos come. And you kind of see the shadow, and you're like, who is that, Adam Warlock? Yeah. No, it's freaking Hank Pym Ultron. So I like the fact that he is back in play. He had a little bit of a appearance in Secret Empire, but I was also like, Ultron was like living in his own nation and like the northern part of Canada or whatever. So he takes the Soul Stone, and I want to skip. So in doing so, you know, and that looks pretty badass. But in doing so, Hank Pym and Ultron have fused. But as a side effect of the Soul Gem, Hank Pym's soul is now stuck inside. And then he's there, and then like you get this really awesome like old Gamora soul there as well. It also, a couple more pages do a really good kind of catch up of really the Infinity Stones all the way up to present day, which again, the Infinity Stones were destroyed right before the newest Secret Wars. That being said, that's also, for me, I think when a lot of the quality started going downhill with Secret Wars, because it was promised, again, a reboot afterwards, blah, blah, blah. Maybe we're getting everything put back to normal before Secret Wars, which means, too, we might have an Ultimate Universe again, and we might have, a lot more cohesion. But anyway, I definitely like it. I think this event is going to be pretty awesome. Let me know what you guys think. Subscribe over here, watch some more videos, hit me up in the comments, and I will see you next time.